All right, so retirement is something that's probably on your mind, and we are going to take a deep dive into the Kenyan Retirement Benefits Act. Now, before you think "Ugh, legal jargon,
Right.
this stuff gets really interesting,
It does.
especially if you, like me, want to know what's happening with your hard-earned savings.
Absolutely. You're right. This isn't just about dry legal text.
Right.
It's about understanding the system that's designed to protect your financial future.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Retirement Benefits Act of 1997,
Okay.
which has seen some updates even as recently as 2022.
Wow.
The fact that it's been revised tells us it's not static. It's adapting to the times.
Yeah, a living document, as they say.
Exactly.
So first things first, this act establishes something called the Retirement Benefits Authority. Now, this isn't just some committee that meets once a year and calls it a day.
Right.
The more I read about their powers, I was like, whoa, these guys mean business.
It's true. They have significant authority.
Yeah.
The power to sue, own property, and more. But that's not about being a bully.
Right.
It's about having the tools to actually enforce the rules
Right.
and
Yeah.
protect the integrity of the entire system.
Makes sense. And the act doesn't stop at just giving them power.
Right.
It gets into the nitty-gritty, of their
Yeah.
structure.
Mhm.
It lays out who should be on the board, and it's not just a bunch of suits.
It's not.
You've got experts in scheme funds, banking insurance, even a lawyer. Talk about covering all the bases.
That's a crucial point. This diversity ensures that the board has a well-rounded understanding of the retirement landscape.
Okay.
You need the financial gurus, the legal eagle,
Right.
and those with real-world experience managing these schemes.
Yeah.
That way, decisions are made with a complete picture in mind.
And they have to meet at least 4 times a year.
That's right.
That's accountability right there.
It is.
They can't just phone it in.
No.
It got me thinking, why should someone diving into this act care about the authority's structure?
That's a great question.
What's the takeaway for, say, someone listening right now?
It boils down to trust and influence.
Okay.
Imagine this. A well-structured, transparent authority
Right.
is more likely to operate effectively right.
Right.
That means better protection for your retirement savings and a system that's more likely to adapt to your future needs.
Right.
It's about having confidence that your money is in good hands.
Okay. That's huge.
Yeah.
Speaking of good hands, let's talk about where the money actually goes. The
Right.
scheme funds themselves.
Yes.
This is where it got really interesting for me.
Okay.
The act stresses separate accounts.
Yeah.
They're building a financial fortress
Yes.
around your pension, keeping it safe from anything.
And that's a critical point.
Yeah?
That should not be glossed over.
Right.
Imagine your company hits a rough patch, even goes bankrupt.
Oh, no.
Total chaos, right?
Yeah.
But your pension money,
Yeah, what about it?
safe and sound,
Really?
because it's not considered part of the company's assets. It's in a separate account managed independently.
Okay, so that's a huge relief.
Yes.
Knowing that even if the absolute worst happens with your employer,
Right.
your retirement savings are protected.
Exactly.
That's peace of mind right there.
Absolutely it is.
So these safeguards, this level of protection, how does it compare to what's out there globally speaking?
Great question.
Are we talking Fort Knox level security here?
It's not a simple comparison, though,
Right.
as pension systems vary drastically across the world.
Okay.
Some countries prioritize similar safeguards,
Okay.
while others might have a more relaxed approach.
I see a mixed bag.
Yeah,
But it's good to know Kenya's taking those extra steps.
absolutely.
Now, this is where I got really intrigued.
Okay.
The act doesn't just stop at the money.
Yes, it doesn't.
It delves into unsafe and unsound practices. And I thought, okay, risky investments, I get it. But it goes way beyond that.
It does say. You're right. It's a more holistic view.
Okay.
They're thinking about the long-term health of the entire system,
Okay.
not just the here and now.
Right.
What specifically caught your eye in that section?
Well, they give the CEO of the authority some serious power. They can step in if they think someone's actions are detrimental to the scheme.
Right.
And when I dug into what they consider detrimental, it wasn't just about losing money.
Yeah.
We're talking conflicts of interest,
Right.
lack of transparency, even falling behind on best practices.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that a healthy retirement system isn't just about today's bottom line.
Right.
It's about building something sustainable, something that can weather storms and still be there for people decades down the line.
It's like they're saying, we're not just guarding your money, we're guarding the whole idea of a secure retirement.
Absolutely.
But okay, let's say they've got all these rules in place.
Right.
How do they actually make sure everyone's following them?
Yeah, that's a great question.
After all, rules without enforcement are just suggestions, right?
You hit the nail on the head. Accountability is key.
Right.
And that's where those annual reports come in.
Okay.
Every scheme has to submit a detailed financial report, assets, liabilities, income,
Right.
the whole shebang.
Right. But who's actually combing through those reports? Is anyone really paying attention?
That's where the actuarial evaluations come in.
Okay.
Remember those experts we talked about on the board?
Yeah.
Well, they bring in qualified actuaries.
Okay.
Think of them as financial detectives.
Right.
To analyze the numbers and make sure everything adds up.
Okay. So they've got someone checking their work that's reassuring. But what if, as someone invested in their retirement,
Right.
something still seems off?
Yeah.
What kind of recourse do you have?
That's where things get really interesting from your perspective.
Okay.
The Act has a clear appeals process.
Okay.
If you disagree with a decision made by, say, your scheme's manager,
Right.
you have the right to appeal directly to the CEO of the Retirement Benefits Authority.
Wait, straight to the top.
That's right.
That's a pretty direct line.
It is. It's about making sure members have a voice.
Right.
And get this, if you're still not satisfied,
Yeah.
there's another layer, the appeals tribunal.
A whole tribunal. Just for pensions.
That's right.
That seems serious.
It is serious. It shows how seriously they take this.
Yeah.
The tribunal is like a special court specifically for pension-related matters.
Okay.
They can summon witnesses, hear evidence under oath, the whole 9 yards.
Wow. Okay, so we've got transparency, we've got accountability,
Right?
and now we see there's a way to fight for your rights if you need to.
Absolutely.
It's not just about the money itself,
Right.
making sure the system is fair.
Exactly. It's about fairness and a level playing field.
Right.
But like any good story, there's a bit of a plot twist.
Uh-oh.
Remember how we talked about those separate accounts?
Yeah.
Protecting your money, even if your employer goes under?
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
Right.
So what's the twist?
Well, there's this fascinating section about unclaimed benefits,
Right.
especially when a scheme is being wound up.
Okay, so let's say a company goes out of business. What happens to the money then?
The Act states that if benefits go unclaimed for 2 years after a scheme ends,
Okay.
they revert to the state under the Unclaimed Financial Assets Act of 2011.
Hold on. So after all that protection,
Yeah.
if someone doesn't claim their money,
Right.
it goes to the government.
That's essentially it.
Wow.
Of course, they have procedures to try and find the rightful owner.
Right.
But it highlights an interesting point.
Okay.
This act isn't just about safeguarding money while it's in the system.
Right.
It's about making sure it ends up where it belongs, even if it takes a while.
That's a side I hadn't even considered.
Yeah.
It's not just about the present, but making sure things are buttoned up for the future, too.
Precisely. And that leads us to a crucial question for you to consider. With all these safeguards in place, it makes you wonder what happens if someone simply forgets about their pension?
Right.
Or maybe they're not even aware they have one.
Right. Especially with people changing jobs more frequently these days.
Exactly.
It's easy to lose track.
Yeah.
It's almost like finding a $20 bill in your winter coat.
Right.
A nice surprise, but how did it get there?
Exactly. And that's where understanding the ins and outs of this act can really pay off, quite literally.
Yeah.
Knowing your rights, how the system works.
Right.
Those are your most valuable assets in ensuring a comfortable retirement.
I'm with you there. It's been eye-opening to really dig into the details of the Kenyan Retirement Benefits Act.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
It is. It's so much more than just a bunch of rules.
Right.
It's a framework for securing your financial future.
Absolutely. And like any good framework, it's built to adapt and evolve, as we said earlier.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to take away from all of this?
Knowledge is power.
Okay.
The more you understand about how your retirement savings are managed and protected, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions for your future.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Do your research and advocate for your financial well-being.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's your future. Own it. That's a wrap on this episode of The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep those brains engaged, and we'll keep bringing you the knowledge you need to navigate this crazy world.